If you can spot a break and retest on the charts, then you can make money trading stocks. This is a simple strategy that I use every single day. I used to clutter my screen with a whole bunch of fancy indicators like VWAP, Bollinger Bands, RSI, EMAs, SMA, you name it. But now I keep it simple using just candlesticks, simple support and resistance levels such as pre-market lows, or I go in depth on the higher time frame and find my own specific levels. Now, like I said earlier, if you know how to spot a simple break and retest, then you can trade any single type of level in the stock market. Now, for an example, we're gonna grab this low right here, a pre-market low, as well as you can even grab a simple level such as this high up here and connect it all the way to these most previous highs. Now, if you're in my Discord, you know that this is my type of trading style. These are my type of trading setups. Every single time I provide a trade idea, it's usually a very simple trade idea like this. And now we have market opening here. This is how you identify when you're gonna take your entry. You can see, I like to just watch price action, see what the market's doing. And in this case, we broke below and rejected this little resistance level and broke below pre-market low here. Now, as you see, just reading price action, we rejected and did a double top or rejected this very simple pre-market highs or this most previous high as we marked off earlier. And now here we are breaking below pre-market low, guys. Now this is where you get your puts ready. You start to watch the market here and you see where you're going to take your entry. Now, if you're in my Discord, you know that I like to actually wait and watch the candles and read exactly what they're telling you. And you guys can see here, first, the market sold off below pre-market low. Then you use the break and retest model, guys. This is what I'm talking about, the break and retest strategy. You can see this candle here is telling you that sellers took control. Very long wicks to the upside, indicating that sellers took control just reading candlesticks. And here is a picture of how you can read candlesticks. Then you see the next candle here, again, another sell-off candle. Look at the volume too as well. Use everything in your favor to identify the technical analysis and identify the best trade setup in your favor. Now in this case, there's many different entries you can enter on. Now this is a perfect short position opportunity, as you guys can see here. Reason being is because it's as close as you can get to this retest, hence break and retest. You got the breakout here, retest here, and again, it's going for another retest. So very simply, all you got to do and assess your risk to reward. So worst case scenario, you enter this trade here on the retest. Now let's say you're going for $300 and this is about a 10% risk. You're willing to lose $30. Let's say you're shooting for a 1 to 3 risk to reward, which is 30% gain. You're willing to gain $90 and willing to lose $30. 1 to 3. Now let's see how this would have played out. Now, of course, this is hindsight in our favor, but this is exactly how I would trade, and this is exactly how I trade in general. So let's take some sell positions here, paper trade, of course, and let's see how it goes. So you guys can see, very simply, retest, price target hit, sell a few, keep a few, have some runners. And that's just one example of a very simple break and retest strategy. Of course, I cherry picked a few trade setups, but now we're going to get into another one and show you guys as well. And maybe I'll even show you guys what it looks like when a break and retest fails as well. But you guys can see, very simply, easy trade, call it good, one and done. Then you move on to the next one. Here's what a failed break and retest looks like, guys. Now we're going to be really transparent and show you guys how I would even trade a failed break and retest. Because guys, guess what? They happen. I'm going to even show you guys my trade zealot here and show you guys my P&L and show you guys that I do also take losses as well. Here's my March P&L and here's my April P&L. So you guys can see that we also still take losses, but the losses are very small compared to how much we win. So we always at least try to stay profitable at the end of the week. But now I'm going to show you guys here what it looks like for a loss of a failed break and retest. So again, this is the pre-market. You assess your levels, you address your levels, you find which levels you're going to trade. Now in this case, guys, very simply, all I like to do is grab pre-market highs and extend it out because I plan to take calls on the break above pre-market highs on a break and retest strategy. Same thing with pre-market. You guys see double touches of some support. So again, if the market gets below this level and does a breakdown to the downside and comes for a retest, then I'll enter for some downside actions for some puts. Now let's see how the market acts on these specific levels off this very specific, simple break and retest strategy using pre-market lows and pre-market highs. So there goes the market again, just watching price action. You can see, boom, now we got the breakout. Now market is breaking out here. This is where I identify and I look at the market, look at my options contracts, see how much I'm willing to risk, see how much I'm willing to get in for, see the expiration. I do not trade same day expirations. I look for next day or next week's. And again, let's see where we can enter and let's see what we can identify. Because again, all I like to do is wait for a breakout, then see what the candles do for a reaction and see how I can find my entry. So again, I'm noticing that the candles are holding here pretty strongly. So again, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in for a long position. So I set my risk to my price target, stop loss, and all I'm doing is setting my stop loss to G support at. So if we break this general area of support, then that's where I have to. So again, let's enter some buys. Let's buy about 20 contracts, theoretically, paper trading, of course. Now here we are, really close to our stop loss. This is where I gotta identify and watch the market and see if it's either gonna bounce right here or if the candles are gonna start to close below. And if it closes below, guys, then we just gotta cut it. It is what it is. Look at this. Look at that candle here. It did try to hold. It did try to do a bounce. It did have a nice little hammer, but again, sold off very hard. And again, guys, you just have to cut it for a loss. It is what it is. $32 loss compared to the gain that we lost on the next one. Again, willing to lose 30 to try to gain 90. So we lost $32 on this trade. Had we taken this trade, which was a failed break and retest, which happens, guys. I do take trades like this where they end up failing on me, and even you guys can see my vlogs, it does happen. So now let's go over one more last trade and show you guys a very simple break and retest strategy and how you guys can get paid if you guys can spot very simple break and retest strategy using candlesticks in your favor. So here's a very nice trade setup on Nvidia, guys. So again, look at how Nvidia is acting. Look at the price action. Very simply, identify your levels, identify where you plan on taking calls, identify where you plan on taking puts. Now in this case, you guys can grab the highs of yesterday, which is right here, connect it with this most previous high as well, and just extend it. That's it. That's how simple it is. Or you can even very simply just grab the highs of this wick here and just like that as well. Very simple. That's it. Then if you want to identify where you plan on taking puts, again, you guys can grab the lows of these wicks here. You see that's some decent support there as well. And guys, this is how simple it is. I don't use all these fancy indicators. I don't use all these fancy RSI, EMAs, SMAs. I try to keep it as simple as I can with simple support and resistance levels, and then trade them using candlesticks for the entries, break and retest model for my strategy. So let's see how we can trade this using just these candlesticks and using just these very simple level guys off the 5, 15 minute, 30 minute time frame as well. And of course, I always recommend to go on higher time frames like the 4 hour, 1 hour, and even the daily as well. So let's see where we can identify trades like this. If we go long, and all we do is just find the break and retest strategy here, the stop loss below the support, and you can see that's how simple it is. Let's see what this one's gonna do here, guys. Let's go. Break. Now here's the retest, holding very strongly. Now again, look at the candles. Look at those candles, guys. Look at the way things are moving. Now the retest, and look at this. Look at this. We might even miss the retest. Every time it pulls back, it keeps on going up, creating higher lows, higher highs. And look at that, guys. Very beautiful trade. Now again, identify where you could have entered. Where was the entry? Entry was here off the, as you guys can see in the markets. Right, I opened, it broke above. And look how simple this is. Anybody knows this trading strategy as well. It gets broken above these most previous and all and on the retest. Above the retest here, very strong hold on the candle, and again ultimately just keeps on holding again. So again, that's how simple it is to make money using the break and retest strategy, guys. So if you guys want to learn how you guys can understand and use candlesticks and trade the break and retest strategy, then the link is in the bio. Join the Discord and you guys will see how you guys can use this to your advantage and make money, and see how you guys can use this in your advantage, make money in the stock market trading this type of strategy, only using candlesticks, using very simple support and resistance levels, and not having to use and rely on fancy indicators. I'll see you guys on the next video.